So Ball Guy Show starts right now. Hope you enjoy the show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. What is up, everybody? Episode 2 with Chris Leto. We'll bring him on shortly, but this episode is brought to you by the B Stream, right? Founded by film creator Brad Lyon. The B Stream is putting the buzz back into B movies. Check it out. The description, the Facebook page, and the link will be in the description below. So make sure you check that out. It's only $7.99 a month to subscribe. No commercials, nothing, and it's a lot of great films. Okay, a lot of new films, and that's on that platform, and a lot of classics. Okay, very very cool. And they have an app, very good link, a very cool app as well. All right. Chris is a director, producer, actor, writer. His films like Seeing Evil, Man in the Blue Suit was an awesome film as well. Let's bring Chris on. Chris, man, thank you for being on, man.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Let's share your IMDb page down there. All right, just check out Chris's IMDb. You'll find the list of all his films, the films he's produced, written, and all that stuff. Chris, tell me about yourself. Where are you from? How you get started in film?
I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida. Never left here.
I'm originally from South Florida. South Florida. I was born and raised in South Florida.
Yeah, I love it here. I'll never move. Just my home. I started making movies in 2010, and at the time I was in mortgage, and I had been in mortgage for like 8 years, and my whole life I've always just loved movies, and I loved the process of them. I would always watch like the behind the scenes, DVD, on DVDs and stuff like that. And I was reading books about how to make movies and stuff like that. And in 2010, I just decided to do it. I said, I'm going to make one. And I had a script called Teenage Lobotomy, that it was a feature, and that was going to be my first movie I ever made. And I talked to my cousin who lived up in New York up in Pennsylvania at the time. And I was telling him about it. And he was like, you know what? He goes, I got a friend of mine that makes movies. You should talk to him before you do anything. And I'm like, okay. So I ended up talking to this guy who was very informative, very helpful. And he told me, trust me, make a short first, just to see what you're getting yourself into. And back then, I never went to film school or anything like that. I was just kind of, how I thought a movie was made is how I did it. And obviously it was the wrong way. But so we made this movie called If I Can't Have You. And he said to make a short, but dumb me made a 40-minute short, which might as well have been a feature, because it was a lot of days and a big cast and a lot of locations, and it was crazy. But we got through it, and we had a feasible, tangible movie that we made, and we made it for $900. And then
wow,
and we left the ending open. So then I teamed up with Sean Donahue, and that was his first feature, and that was my first feature that we ever made. So we were deciding what we wanted to do next, and we were like, well, why don't we just make a second half of this and make it into a full-length feature? And we're like, okay. So we did it. So that was technically the first feature we ever made. And then from then on, my second movie was Housewife Slasher, and that was a huge movie too. We had like 41 actors, 19 locations, just crazy.
Wow.
Since then, and we had a $3,000 budget on that one. So I had a premiere in my backyard, of all things. We did it like drive-in style. We had a projector, and I had all my friends and family and neighbors or whatever. I charged them $10 to get into my backyard, and they all brought their own chairs and blankets and stuff, and we watched it in my backyard. And I probably had like 120 people in my backyard watching this movie.
Very cool.
So we made, and we had hot dogs and pretzels and popcorn, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you sell the popcorn and the pretzels and the hot dogs?
Yeah, we sold all that stuff. So I ended up making a pretty good amount of money on that, and it all went to the next movie. And I ended up
Very
winning
cool.
I won an office football pool, and I won $900, and that went to the movie too. So I had a $3,000 budget for that one. And the jump from the first movie to the second movie is like night and day. We were really proud of Housewife Slasher, and it's you can see it on Tubi. But we did that one in 2012, and we had a premiere. We rented out a theater, and it was a 300 seat theater. We sold the theater out, and I made my whole budget back on that
Nice.
one night, which is crazy. So we ended up having 3 showings, and we made a pretty good amount of money on it, and made another one. So that's just been the cycle: is you just take the money from the last one and put it towards the next one and make another one. Nowadays, I'd say the last 3 years, my movies have scaled down, way down. Most of my movies now, we don't have more than 10, 12 actors, you know, 5 locations max. We keep them real small, small crew, small cast. And our movies are around the 4,000 to $4,500 budget range right now. Um, in the meantime, and in through the years, I did make 2 movies, Seeing Evil and Crazy Lake, and those had bigger budgets. They were up in the 80, $90,000 range.
Wow. And why the
Yeah.
jump? Why the jump? Why such a
Um,
higher budget?
I was at that point where I had made like 5 or 6 movies at that time, and I felt like I wanted to go bigger. And
Mhm.
and Sean, we had been together this whole time making movies together, and we went off in separate paths. I started doing bigger stuff, and then he started doing exploitation movies. He did a lot of sleazy exploitation stuff, lots of gore, lots of nudity, just over the top craziness. And I went more the mainstream horror route with Crazy Lake. Um, I had teamed up with some people, and we had a little bit of money. We rented a cabin in the woods, and we shot for I think 11 days, and we lived in the cabin. The whole cast and crew lived in the cabin for the whole 11 days while we shot the movie. So that was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And it was way easier to shoot like that because we could just have everything set up. We wake up in the
Mhm.
morning, eat breakfast, and then go shoot. It was pretty nice. But that's probably my most probably the best looking movie. Had a few people in there that have gone on to do bigger things. Rob Mello, who was in Happy Death Day. Um, Skylar Joy, she has a recurring role on P Valley on Stars. Marco Del Vecchio is doing stuff out in LA. He's been on the Steve Harvey show a few times. So people in that movie have done some other things, and they're not household names, but they're having decent careers after that movie. And then I don't know. I made Seeing Evil next, and that was a bigger budget. I think we had 75,000, 80,000 for that one. And a doctor, actually, my sister worked for a doctor, and he called me out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, I want to give you some money to make a movie," and I'm like, "Okay, like nobody does this." He said, "But the only
What's the
thing,"
catch?
well, he said, "The thing is, the only thing I ask is that the lead character gets hit by lightning somehow through in the movie. So you can tie that in somewhere and do whatever you want with it." So we are like, okay. So and God rest his soul, he actually just passed away a few days ago. The doctor that gave me the money for that. Um,
Wow.
he yeah he had leukemia.
Oh man, so
So
sorry.
yeah. So anyway, we wrote the script based around someone getting hit by lightning, and they had these special powers. All of a sudden, they could do.
Great
It wasn't
film.
like limitless, but he could do like fix computers, tell us what time it is by the sun, do Rubik's cubes.
Play
Like he could just
piano. To play
play
the piano.
piano. He could
I
just
love
do
the
stuff.
movie. The movie was really good.
Thanks. But he starts seeing like ghosts and dead
Yeah,
people and stuff. So it was kind of cool. I don't feel like the movie translated from the script that great. I mean it's not a bad movie. You obviously liked it.
I did.
Um,
I did.
but I that was the time of my life where I hated being on set. We had a 25-day shoot, and I felt like the people involved weren't passionate, and
Oh
I like
man,
working with passionate people.
of
You
course.
know, my $4,000 movies, like if you don't have passion, then you're not going to want to be in my movies because you're not getting paid a whole lot of money. So, I felt like the movie, I was just like, when I was on set, I just couldn't wait to leave and go home. And
Oh man,
I decided to quit after that for, I think I left for like 4 years, and I got a regular job and was doing stuff in my job. And then Sean Donahue called me one day and he was like, "Hey man," he goes, "I got this movie called Heartbreak Killer and I want you to shoot it." And I'm like, let me think about it. So I called him back. I said, "All right, I'll shoot it for you." And so we ended up doing that. And then I kind of got the bug again and started wanting to do stuff. So I was just doing cinematography at that time. You can look at my IMDb. I think I
yeah.
shot like probably 15, 20 movies. And then I started kind of not wanting to shoot anymore. And I was like, I want to direct again. So I wrote The Cheerleader Sleepover Slaughter, which was my first movie that I directed back when I came back to it. And that's been my most successful movie so far. It's really done well on Tubi. You can watch it on Tubi. It's done really well on Tubi. And then it just started rolling. I started making a bunch of stuff. And we've made 6 features in 15 months. Like that's insane. It's just been one after the next. And I got another one coming up in March for Frost Park. And we're doing that one in March. We just finished one called Diary of a Serial Killer. That one's in post. I got Creeper in the Woods. We're actually having our premiere in April. That one's finished. So what happened was there's a director in LA called, his name's James Cullen Bressick. And he's made movies with John Claude Van Damme and Mel Gibson. Like he's made bigger
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and he lives in LA. And we had both made. So back when I made Housewife Slasher, I had put it into a film festival in Kentucky. I think it was called the Fright Night Film Festival. And he had his first movie that he ever made at 19 years old called it was called Hate Crime, and it was getting a lot of talk because it was a very controversial movie. Actually, I think it's banned in the United States.
Really?
Anyway,
Oh wow.
yeah, I believe so. So he, I don't remember if I contacted him or he contacted me on Facebook, and we just started talking, and we just kept in touch over the years for some reason. And he called me out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, I got some money. Would you want to make a movie with this much money?" And basically, how it works is I give you the money, you make the film, you give it to us, and I give it to the distributor, and then they do everything from there, and you get 50% back. And I'm like, sounds great to me because I hate raising money and I hate marketing the movie after it's finished. So they're doing the two things that I hate, and it was a perfect opportunity for me. So we made Man in the Blue Suit. That's the first one that we did for them. And then I asked them, "Hey, would you give me this much money to make 4 movies?" And they said, "Yeah, let's do it." So Frost Park is the fourth of the 4 that we've done for them. We did Bombshell Butcher, which this should be on Tubi any month now. And then the first one was actually Bombshell Butcher was the first one. And then we did see the hell's it? Oh, Creeper in the Woods, and then Diary of a Serial Killer, and then Frost Park we're shooting in March. So that's the journey so far. That's where I'm at.
Man, that's amazing. And how many years was it between seeing evil till you came back to
Seeing Evil was in 2015 is when we shot that movie,
and you were out
and
for 4 years? You
I
said
quit.
something like
I
that.
was out. I didn't want anything to do with the movie. Someone else took it and edited it, and then they got a distribution deal. I paid myself a little bit of money, to direct it, but I haven't seen a dime in a after.
Oh man, that
The only
sucks.
the only 2 movies I haven't made my money back were the 2 big ones, and it's a very difficult. Um, it's very difficult right now to make money on your movies because a lot of the distributors out there are predatory, and they take your movie, they promise you all this stuff, and then for 4 years you don't get paid anything, and they make money, and there's no way of proving how much they make. So
How do you
you
trust
know,
them now? Who? How do you know who to
you can't
trust
trust
anymore?
them. You can't trust anybody. This is I was telling my friend Sean the other day, I'm like, this is the shadiest business. I mean, it's got to be the shadiest business of any business out there, because there's no transparency. You can't fight the big distributors. You know, they take your. I have a classic example with Housewife Slasher. I had put it on Amazon myself. Like back then, you could just upload your movie to Amazon and put it out for rent.
Mm.
So I had it. I had it up for maybe 6, 8 months, and I was making like 150, $200 a month, and I wasn't even marketing it or promoting it or anything. People were just finding it and renting it, and so I was making 150, $200, and like I said, we had made our whole budget back at the premieres, so it was all profit from then on.
Nice.
So I had a company contact me. I should say who they are, but I probably won't. They contacted me. They said, "Hey, we love your movie. We want to distribute it. We give you, 60-40 split on any revenue that we make and or profit that we make, blah, blah, blah." So I'm excited. This is my second movie I ever made. I'm excited that a distributor wants my film. So I signed with them for 4 years. And in 4 years, I made $300 in 4 years. And they had my movie for 4 years. And that's what happens. And they the distributors prey on people like me back in 2012 when I didn't know any better.
Yeah, you were brand
And
new. You were green.
yeah, and there's a lot of people that that don't listen to you or just don't know any better, and they sign with these distributors and they get ripped off, and it's very sad. It's very hard to make a film. It's a lot of things have to fall into place, and it's a lot of work and a lot of time. And people don't understand. I make it look easy because I'm making so many movies back to back to back, but they don't see the time that I put into it. I don't have a full-time job. Um, so every day I'm at my computer editing, casting, writing, finding locations, talking to people. I mean, just nonstop, 8 hours every single day. And, it consumes your life when you're in production. It consumes you. And people don't see that, but the behind the scenes stuff, they're just like, oh, Chris has another movie coming out, big deal. But it's a lot of work, and the behind the scenes is pretty crazy. And for a distributor to take that work and effort and passion and exploit it's unbelievable,
That's
and it's very
disgusting.
sad. Yeah, it's very sad. But that's what's happening, and you got to be careful. And whenever a new filmmaker asks me for advice about distribution or whatever, I'm like, their job is to rip you off, and your job is to not get ripped off. So just be careful, read everything, ask questions, ask people that have been doing this for a long time, get their advice. And this, unfortunately, that's the way it is right now. And until something changes, it's going to continue like this. So if you make a movie for over $10,000, you're signing a death wish. You'll never make that much money back. It's practically impossible to make that much money back on streaming, because stream, they pay pennies. Like Amazon Prime, they pay nothing. Like, you hardly make anything with them.
Really?
Tubi pays pretty good, but the trick is, I mean, you got to think, Tubi's got 100,000 movies on there. Like, how are they going to find your movie unless they already know the title and type it in? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to browse and find the Cheerleader Sleepover Slaughter. It's just not going to happen.
Well,
Um,
and then, by the way, I did watch that one. I did
mhm.
watch it because the reason why I found it is I never knew about that movie. I just know who you are. I went to your
Right, exactly,
IMDb and I started looking at your films
exactly.
and I started searching for it. And I have different platforms that I'm part of. And I
Mhm.
started looking. Okay, I can't find this movie here. Let me look for it there. I can't find the movie here. Let me find it there. Uh, Man in the Blue Suit. I forgot where I watched. Is that one
YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
is that where I watched it then? Okay, maybe
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's on YouTube with ads. Yeah.
And then with the ads, I'm assuming that's how Tubi you get paid more with two because of the ads, right?
Because the ads, right? Exactly.
You know, so
Um,
we get it for I watch it for free, but thank God you
right.
get paid because of the
Yeah, yeah, we
ads.
get. So I've gone. So there's different platforms that you can. I hate to be negative, but I feel like
No,
this
man, no,
is.
no, no. I
I
mean,
feel like other filmmakers watching should know this information. Um, I don't know if this is the platform to do it, or if you want to just have fun and talk about
no, no, no,
BS.
no,
But
no. Listen, listen.
um,
My show is always about my guest. So if you want to
right,
vent, you vent.
it's not just
So,
venting. I want to educate people.
which is
So
even better.
I've right. I've gone through a company called Film Hub, and I'm not going to sit here and advocate for Film Hub, but they're one of the people. There's like three or four of them. There's Indie Rights, there's uh, Film Hub, and then there's another company that just came out called, I think it's called Studio Dome. And what they do is you upload your movie to them, you register it, and then they will shop your movie to all the streaming channels. Okay, and so your streaming channels are going to pick your movie up. Hey, you just got picked up by Amazon. Hey, you got picked up by Tubi. Hey, you got picked up by 30 other streaming channels you never even heard of. So, and what happens is once the movie starts making money, they send it to Film Hub, and then I get 80% of whatever comes in. So the thing that Film Hub doesn't do is they don't market your movie. That's on you to market the movie to get people to go to Tubi and watch your movie. Um, so the thing I like about Film Hub is they're transparent. So
Mm.
they give you a dashboard, and I can see every week how much my movies have made per week and what channels they made on, how much money they made on each channel. Um, and then they'll pay out every so often or whatever. That's the one thing I do like about it. The things I don't like about it, their customer service is horrible. Like I'll email them if I have a problem, and I'll get a response like 10 days later.
Oh my God.
Um, and now they've come up with this thing where they want you to pay for basically better service is basically what it is. Um, but they're the only ones that I know of where I can actually make money. I could get my movies on streaming and actually make some money. And trust me, I'm not getting rich here, but it's making enough to where, I got a few extra bucks every month. And,
Mm.
you know, it's, um, it's like I said, it's the only way that I know personally that I can make movies. And that's kind of like self distribution. People talk about, oh, do self distribution to self distribution. The way we do that is we make Blu-rays, we sell them at conventions, we sell them online. We try to get people to go on our pages and buy our DVDs and Blu-rays. And then streaming is the other avenue that we go to make some money. But the formula that me and Sean had made over the years is we do an Indiegogo, we'll do a fundraiser to make our budget. And once we make the budget, we make the movie, and everything after that's profit because we've already raised the money and whatever. So the money, it's all profit from the time the movie's finished. We're in the
Mhm.
green. And it's like I said, our movies are $4,000. It's practically impossible for us to lose money on our movies. I haven't yet, except for the two big ones that kind of got out of my control. Um, but every movie that I've made that was $4,000 or under has made us money back and is in profit. So that was the formula we made. Do we want to make $1 million movies? Sure, but I like what I do. I like making small movies. You know, I give new actors opportunities to kind of get on set and get a role and make a movie, and that builds their resume and helps them out. And I've probably worked with probably 600-700 actors in my career, and some of them have gone on to do great things, and some of them never worked again. So it's just because some people hated it and they just this isn't for me. So it's I like helping people in my community, and we use all local actors most of the time, and we've flew in a couple actors here and there, but for the most part, it's all local people. And I love it. I love giving them opportunities, teaching them, showing them how we do things. And, um, the way we do things isn't for everybody. We shoot our movies in 6 days. Most people will shoot over 11 to 15 days for a feature. We shoot in 6. And we've just created this formula of making something that works for us and pumping them out. So we've won some awards. We Man in the Blue Suit won 2 Best Feature awards at 2 different film festivals. A couple of my other movies have won like Best Horror Thriller and Best Crime Thriller. Death Blow and Bombshell Butcher both won awards. So we're doing something right, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, and you said something interesting, and it's you enjoy what you're doing, how you're doing
Sure.
it, and that's what matters. You know,
Right.
and you're making money.
And it's
That's
hard as hell. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's
I,
hard.
I'm sure it
It's
is.
very
I'm sure it is.
stressful. It's very stressful. You're ticking down and you don't have an actor yet, and you're trying to find this actor, the perfect fit for this role, and you can't find them. And the clock's ticking. We're shooting in 3 weeks, and I don't have the actor yet. And then, bam, he drops in your lap. So it's, I need a location, or I'm sitting here for hours emailing people or trying to find locations, and I find one. It always seems to work out. I had one, the Cheerleader Sleepover Slaughter is the only movie that I ever postponed because I didn't have a location, and it was a locker room. I couldn't find a locker room anywhere in Tampa. It was ridiculous. So I finally found this little racquetball club, and they had showers and locker rooms, and we ended up getting it, and it cost me a lot of money, but I said, I got to do it. There's nowhere else. So
Did you go
we
over
got to have,
budget on that one?
yeah. Well, what happened? So at the very end of the movie, not to give it away, there's cheerleaders that don't like each other, and they're on the football field fighting. And we had one more scene left. Like, we shot a lot of stuff at that football field that day. We had one scene left, and all the lights went out on us. And our time, because we had a time limit, and our time was up that we paid for. So I had to re-up. I had to get permits, insurance again, rent the football field again, and that put
Oh my
me
god.
probably about $800 over budget. Yeah, it sucked. And when you're talking about a $4,000 movie, $800 is a lot of money.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's what
yeah.
what that's about
So
15% over,
yeah. So
right?
I don't like going over 4,500. Like, that's the max. I think that one was like 5,200 for that one. Yeah, we went over budget. So
How many times have you
that's
gone
like
over budget? How many times has
that's
that
the only
happened to you?
time. That's the
Oh,
only
really?
time.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, cheerleader. Yeah. So I overpaid for the locker room, and then I had to rent the football field again, which was like $800 total to rent it for one scene. So it was kind of lame, but
And,
had to do it.
and to give you
I mean,
kudos,
it was
man.
the end of the movie. It was the end of the movie. If it was some other scene, I probably would have said, forget, I'll cut it. But it was the very end of the movie that we
Yeah,
hadn't
the most
shot yet.
important part to,
Yeah. I was like, I got to do it. So we bit the bullet and did it.
and I want to give you kudos, man, because
Thanks.
those are the type of movies that I love.
Mhm.
The you don't know who the killer is.
Right.
Like the man in the blue suit. I had
Yeah.
an idea. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. At one point, I thought maybe it was the dad that came back. I don't know.
Right.
And and
We
and
kept
and,
trying to
and for the
throw
folks out
little.
there, there might be spoiler alerts here. Okay, spoiler alerts. Sorry,
Yeah.
but watch the movie anyways. Um, and the cheerleader one, I had no idea that chick was in it. The one that they went to. They want to make her life miserable and see.
Right. Flip it
Plot
around.
twist. I
Yeah.
love
Actually,
those are the movies I like.
the killer in Cheerleader Super Slaughter is my youngest son. So
Oh, that
yeah.
is just. And I was going to ask you. I
Yeah.
go,
And then
how does it feel?
the other 2 guys, there was 2 guys that were like sitting in a car talking. The one in the passenger seat was my other son.
Oh,
And my other son, Bo, is actually my director of photography now. Like, he
okay.
shoots all my movies now. He started with Death Blow. So he's shot, I think we just shot his 7th feature, which is crazy. Like, there's
Wow.
not a lot of DPs that can say they shot 7 features. So he's only been doing it for like 2.5 years, 3 years, and he's getting really, really good. Like, he's really getting into it and understands it, and he's getting pretty good. So I'm proud of him. The way he's
I
and
bet.
it all started because on Death Blow, I had a director of photography, the guy that shot Cheerleader, was supposed to shoot Death Blow, and he decided that he didn't want to shoot it. So he dropped out. And I mean, I had a week and I'm like, you know what? I shoot, I'll just do it myself. So I'll direct it and I'll shoot it also. So my son Bo was always there doing my lighting, helping with audio, whatever. He kind of did a little of everything. So I shot 2 scenes and I was just like, I can't do this. Like I can't direct and film this movie at the same time. Like I don't know how people do it. I don't know how somebody can direct and act in a movie. Like directing is so consuming and there's so much you got to see and know and think about and you know, if someone's not saying a line right or whatever it is, like there's so much that goes into it. So I told Bo, I said, I gave him the camera. I said, here's your you're about to shoot this movie. So I guided him through the process, and I think he did a pretty good job on Death Blow. I mean, it's not his best work, but you know, it was the first time he ever shot anything, and we got some pretty cool shots in that movie. And you know, he did a good job. And each movie, he's just been getting better and better and better and better. And I'd say the last 3 that he's shot were great. Like he's really, really done a good job. And our movies are all handheld. We don't really use tripods. I can't even remember the last time I used a tripod.
Oh wow.
We're all handheld. That way we can get movement in the scenes. I hate seeing people that are making a $3,000 movie and the camera's always on a tripod. Like that's just boring to me. I think you need to be able to move the camera around. You know, if he grabs something off the table, you can see that and pop back up to him, and you can follow him through scenes. And there's just a lot you can do handheld. And I like the way it looks. It's real indie, and I like my stuff to look real indie. So that's how we do that, and it's for time. You know, like I said, we shoot in 6 days, so it's a faster way to shoot things, and I just like the way it looks. So it's my preference. Some people will look at me like I'm crazy, but yeah, it's the way I like to do it.
Yeah, and that's what matters. That's what matters. They're your films. And how many takes the is each what's the
We
volume of
do.
film?
I would say 60% of the time we do one take. Um,
Wow.
we will hardly ever do more than 3. Like 3 is probably a max, and that's just going to be if something happens, like the focus gets messed up, or you know, Bo's moving and he trips over something, or the actor flubs a couple lines or whatever. But yeah, I'd say 3 takes is the max. And I get mad when we're on 3 takes. I'm like, all right, this is the last time we're doing this. Get it right, you know. And we usually do it. But yeah, so 1 to 3 takes is the max, pretty much. We don't have time to do 8 takes, you know. We
Well,
don't have
especially if
time.
you're trying to do it in 6 days in less than a week.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's crazy, and we try to keep our days at like 10 to 12 hours. Sometimes they go, you know, 14, 15 hours, but that's pretty rare. It's got to be a crazy long, you know, a lot of stuff to shoot if we go to 15 hours, but it's typically like 10 to 12 hours. I try to keep it because I think after 12 hours you get tired and your work starts to suffer a little bit. You know, that's when you start making errors and missing things, and stuff falls through the cracks, and you know, it's not good after 12 hours.
yeah. What's it like having your sons working with you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's
I
amazing.
bet.
My son Jaden is he could be a really, really good actor. But he's just not interested.
Oh, he's not.
He's not interested. I kind of twisted his arm to be on cheerleader sleepover slaughter. I kind of begged him. I'm like, come on, please, just do it. So he's like, all right, I'll do it. Um, but that's the last movie he's acted in, and that was like 2 years ago. So I
Oh, so
asked him to be
he's
in
not
Diary.
interested at all. He's not interested at all in
Nah,
act. And what about being
nah.
behind the scenes? What about behind the
The
scenes?
thing with him, he doesn't like the standing around, like waiting. He hates that. Like he just wants
Oh,
to get on, act, and then leave. He doesn't want to sit around. Like when he was God, he must have been 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10. I don't remember, but I got him an agent because he was so good at acting. Like he was in a few of my earlier stuff. You know, he had roles in my earlier stuff, and I was like, so the first time, my very first movie, If I Can't Have You, I had a role for him, and he was playing one of the main kid's brother, and my son has a photographic memory. So I gave him the script and I said, all right, this is your lines. This is your character. These are your lines. And it was like 3 pages of dialogue. So I
Wow.
said, here, go practice your lines. And when you're done, come back and we'll practice them. He said, okay. So he goes in his room and he was in there for maybe 30 minutes. Right. And he comes back out and he's like, all right, I know the lines. And I'm like, what? I'm like, there's no way you know all these lines. He's like, yeah. So I took the script. He knew, and there were 3 people in the scene. It was him, his brother, and his mom was in the scene. He knew everybody's lines. He started reciting everybody's line. I'm like, what the hell? So that was the first time I really was like, okay, this kid's different. Like he can do things. Um, so I got him an agent, and she started giving him work like commercials and stuff like that. So he was in a commercial for um, Amscot. It was an Amscot commercial, and he was there for like 4 hours, and most of it was sitting around waiting to get on screen. And so he had to walk a bike across the street, and then there was another scene where he was out in the park throwing a football with a friend or something. And that was it. That's all he did the whole shoot, and he made like almost $300. So I'm like, damn, like this kid, he's 10 years old, he just made $300, right? So then after the shoot, I'm talking to him and I'm like, you like this? And he's like, nah, I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, what? I'm like, you just made $300 for pushing a bike across the street. He's like, I don't like sitting around. He goes, I don't like just sitting there doing nothing. He goes, I don't like it. And to this day, that's his problem with wanting to act. Like he just doesn't like sitting around. So when I brought him on set that day, I was trying to like get his scenes going, fast so we could just get him out. And I tried my best, but he had to sit around a little bit. But since then, he just was like not interested. I've asked him every movie. I'm like, hey, you want a part? And he's like, nah, I'm good. Okay.
Even a small.
I know. I was like, just be a extra in the back. Nah. So, but working with my other son Bo is so awesome. We get in fights on set and stuff, and because I have a bad habit of like he'll tell me stuff and I don't listen, and then I'll say, hey, let's do it this way, and he'll be like, I just said that, and he gets mad at me. But we have a great time on set, and like I said, I'm super proud of him. He's getting pretty good at what he does, and I don't know, it's exciting, and I don't have to worry about camera anymore. All I got to worry about is directing.
Now, the
So like
question:
that.
does he like it? Is he enjoying
Oh,
it? So
he loves it. He
that's
loves it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
If
good.
he didn't love it, he wouldn't do it. But he gets into it, and he loves doing it. I also got a guy on my team named Ricky Garcia. He's a amazing. Um, he does everything. Like if I need him to shoot, he can shoot. He does all our lighting. If you saw Man in the Blue Suit, like our lighting was phenomenal in that movie. He's really good at lighting. He does our audio. Like he just does everything, and the guy just works his ass off every day. You got to like force him to eat when we're all taking a break to eat. You got to force him because I'll be looking around. I'll be like, "Where's Ricky?" I'll go outside and he's wrapping a cable or something. I'm like, "Bro, go get some food." But amazing people. I got a script supervisor, Patrick Godlewski, who's my favorite script supervisor. Like he's amazing. He keeps everything in line. I don't have to worry about looking at a script the whole time. Like he tells me what's going on, what we're doing next, what we've already done. If he sees something weird, he'll tell me. Like he's fantastic. And my other guy, Adam Shipley, he actually helped me write Bombshell Butcher, and super talented. So my whole crew, they all know how to shoot. They all know how to do audio. They all know how to edit. They all know how to do everything. So it's I got a pretty good team, and we've made. I think we're going on our 7th movie together, all of us.
Wow.
So it's nice having the same people that It's like we get on set and everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and they just do it. And so that makes my life easier because I don't have to delegate, 5 people on what they got to be doing while I'm trying to do what I got to do. It's super nice having these guys, and again, I don't pay them a whole lot. I pay them a little bit, and they do it for the passion. They do it because they love doing it, and they all want to be directors, and I'm helping them do that. You know what I mean? Actually, Ricky, the last one, Diary of a Serial Killer, this was his idea, and we had somebody write it for us, and Stephen Carpenter, we had him write it for us.
Mm.
And I kind of let Ricky do his thing directing. I was like, I'm gonna sit back here and watch, and if I see something screwy, I'll say something. If you need a if you have a question, let me know. And it was a very difficult shoot, very difficult script. There was a lot of details and stuff in it, and we almost didn't get it done in time. Like, we were stressing on that one, but we got it done, and Ricky did a great job for his first time directing a feature film. Like, that's he did a really good job, and it was nice that he would come up to me and say, "Hey, man, what do you think about this?" Or and I would tell him, and I feel like I'm a father figure to these guys because they're all young guys. My son's 28. My Ricky's, I think, in his early 30s. Adam's like mid 20s. Patrick's, I don't know how old Patrick is. But I feel like I'm a father figure or a mentor to these guys. And I feel like they're my kids. I treat them like
That's
that.
awesome, man.
So, yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
good.
Who have been your influences? Because you're influencing these guys. You obviously have an
My
influence.
influences. Um, I mean, when I first started, thinking about making a movie, Kevin Smith was like my hero, man. Like I feel like Kevin Smith is like we are. Like, he just made a small, little bullshit movie, and it just blew up, and he got famous. And it was just, I don't know if you know the story behind him, but pure luck that he got found, that his movie got seen, pure luck. And he's had a great career, but I feel like he's just one of us, like he's just a little independent filmmaker, and he just happens to have millions of dollars to make movies. Another one is Mike Flanagan. Um, I started following him. I watched a movie called Absentia that he made. I mean, this was years ago when I first started. And again, I think he had like a $15,000 budget, $20,000, something like that. And it was a really cool movie, and I really liked it. So I started kind of following his career, and I actually got to talk online with him one day on Facebook, and it was just the coolest thing ever. This was back when he was a nobody, but the stuff he's doing now, like Haunting at Hill House and Bly Manor, and like all these amazing shows on Netflix, like blow me away. The cinematography, the stories, the character, like the guy's amazing. He's one of the most amazing directors right now that are doing things. Dr. Sleep, he did a great job with that. Um, I'm excited to see what he's going to do with The Exorcist, because if anybody can make it good, it's going to be him. Tarantino, I'm a big Tarantino fan. My favorite movie is Pulp Fiction. I'd say those three guys are probably my biggest people that I followed their careers.
Yeah.
I like David Fincher a lot. I love the way Fincher can build an atmosphere. Like, no one can do it like him. I mean, Seven is like, talk about the atmosphere. Like, that is like probably the most atmospheric movie you've ever seen. Like, it's amazing what he can do. Yeah, I mean, those are probably the main people. So, but when I started, I always tried to surround myself with people that knew way more than I did, and learn everything I can from those people, whether it was a director of photography, another director, even the sound guy, whatever. I'm trying to learn everything that I can, because I feel as a director, you should know about a camera, about lenses, about how to edit, um, how to produce a movie, how to do audio, how to light. You should know how to do everything that is done on a set. You should know that. And I know people that don't know anything. Like, they're not technical people. Like, they don't even know what does a 35 millimeter lens look like, or what does a 28 millimeter lens look like. They don't know that stuff. And I'm like, that's your job to know that. Like, how do you not know that? And it drives me crazy, because when I'm on set, I'm watching the monitor of being shot, and I'm editing this movie in my head, because I know that this shot's going to connect to this shot, and this shot's going to connect to that shot. And so you have to know how to edit to be able to make sure you're getting the shots that you need. So I don't know, this is just the way I do it. But it blows my mind that there's people that direct and don't know how to do everything on a set. So And I'm all self-taught. Like I never, like I said, I never went to film school or anything. I just learned along the way, and I feel like I'm at a position now where I kind of know how to do everything on set. I know a lot about distribution and stuff like that, and how to make money, and I just kind of learned it along the way, and I
Well,
try to teach other people.
that's the thing. You said it. You learned it along the way, and you said it earlier at the beginning. Uh, you've tried teaching and didn't want to.
Right.
And people, so a lot of people want to
People
listen
don't
to you,
listen to me. Right.
and
I'm in the
that's
middle
how
of
it
it right
is
now.
with everything. That's how it is with everything. If you're not going to learn unless you're watching others
Hmm.
and you're learning along the way. Sometimes you have to.
Asking questions. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. On Housewives Slasher, I had an amazing director of photography. He was really good. And I was over that guy's shoulder every shot, watching how he framed things, the movement of the camera. I would ask him, "Hey, why'd you shoot it like that?" Or "What are you trying to do here?" And he would tell me, and he taught me. And then the next movie we made, I shot it. I was kind of thrust into shooting it because I had the guy that shot Housewife was gonna shoot the movie Rough Cut, and he got an opportunity to go to a fashion week in New York. So I said, go. I said, show me the settings on the camera and I'll shoot it myself. So he left, and I shot, me and this other guy that was producing with me. We both shot the movie together, and
Mm.
um, that was my first movie I ever shot, and I got sucked into it, and that's all I wanted to do. After that was just cinematography. That's all I wanted to do. So I shot Die Delta Pi, which was me and Sean's kind of our flagship movie that we made, and after that, that's when we kind of split off, and I started doing some bigger stuff, and he started doing the exploitation movies, and then we kind of got back together after the 4 year hiatus. We got back together, and I don't know, it's cool, and we still talk to this day. We're doing a movie in April called Fatal Desires. He's bringing back the erotic thriller.
As a matter of fact, I've been meaning to hit up Sean and have him on.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to hit him up. Phil Herman.
yeah,
Um, I've had him on twice, and
mhm,
he suggested Sean. I go, you know what? You're right.
yeah, for
I
sure.
should hit up Sean.
Sean's
Um,
done a lot of stuff. He's done a
so,
lot of stuff.
growing up, what were some of your favorite shows and TV shows and movies? What were you into?
Movies. I was always into horror movies. Like even when I was a little 5 year old kid, I would watch Creature Feature, and they had all the old monster movies on late at night, and I would stay up at my watch those. So I loved Christopher Lee's Dracula. I loved
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah, and then I started watching stuff like, I mean, I saw Black Christmas when I was like 7 years old, and that's a pretty psycho movie, and that movie
That
kind
is
of
a psycho
affected
movie.
me. That movie kind of affected me. I was really scared. I think the girl that got suffocated in the attic was like, it got me. I mean, I was a little kid. But Halloween, The Thing. I grew up on the Friday the 13th movies. I saw Friday the 13th 3D in the theater. Uh, I was just always a horror guy, and I'll watch anything horror. I'll watch anything. Not really big into westerns or war movies. I'm not really into those. Um, and then I'm like, Tarantino, my favorite director, makes a war movie and two westerns. I'm just like, geez. But they were amazing westerns and amazing war movies. But yeah, I'm just not into those, comedies, romantic comedies. I watch anything really. Um, but the TV shows I watched when I was a kid, I mean, Brady Bunch and Happy Days and stuff like that. So I'm 55 years old, so I grew up in the pretty much the late 70s, early 80s
Yeah,
was my
yeah,
childhood, and but that's when like cable first came out. When we got HBO, Showtime, Cinemax were the three main channels,
yeah. They were. Yeah, I remember
oh, and
that.
then they had the movie channel also. So there were four
True, the
channels,
TMC. Yeah, the movie channel.
and we had all the channels, so I was able to watch all the rated R movies when I was 10 years old. So uh,
Where mom
and
and
we were
dad
like the
were.
first. Yeah, and we were. Oh, my parents didn't care what I watched. Um, Here's a funny story. My aunt took me and my cousin. My cousin's a year older than me. my aunt took me and my cousin to the theater, and this was in 77. So I was like 8 years old. Okay. Took us to see Saturday Night Fever, like the raunchiest. Like, have you seen that movie lately? Like,
I haven't
it's
seen it
raunchy.
lately. I saw it
Oh
when
my
I
god.
was young.
Yeah, I watched it again like probably a year ago, and I was like, this is the raunchiest damn movie. Like, oh my,
Really?
the way they talked and the sex and nudity and like it was crazy. And I'm like, I'm 8 years old in the theater watching this movie with my cousin. Like, it was just a different time back then, I guess, like because people didn't really care what you watched. And I feel like I'm normal because of that. I did that with my kids. My kids, I mean, from young age, we're watching horror movies and whatever. And I feel like if you shelter your kid, that they're going to grow up and they're going to like see that and they're going to go crazy. Like they're going to want that. You know what I mean? Where my kids are just like, pair of tits, big deal. You know what I mean? Like they don't care. It's like big deal. Um, so that's the way I raise my kids, on horror movies. And me and my son Jaden, we go to the movies every Tuesday and watch the newest stuff. But yeah, it's cool.
You
It's had a
mentioned
pretty cool life.
you mentioned Black Christmas. What are your thoughts on remakes when they try the new Black Christmas? I didn't even finish watching the movie.
Oh, it was horrible. I
Yeah.
so the first remake they did was okay.
Oh, they've done another one.
Yeah, they did one back in 2000, like 2009 or 10 or
I
something
think
like
that's the
that.
one I'm talking about. I didn't know they made
That's the one
another
that had
one.
Lacey. That one had Lacey Shea Bear. It had Katie Cassidy. Um, who else was in that? And then they just made another one like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was all woke. It was
Why?
horrible.
Why?
Horrible.
Why
Me and
remake these
Sean,
classics?
yeah, me and Sean went to see it together, and we left the theater. We were pissed because it didn't even have the same story. Like it was a
Really?
rip off of. They just ripped off the name and made some bullshit woke movie that was
Okay.
ridiculous. It was terrible. And so, um, yeah, remakes. I mean,
Halloween,
they're
the
hit
remake.
or
And
miss.
listen,
They're hit or
not
miss.
taking anything away from Zombie, Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
Nothing, but his Halloween movies are horrible. I did not like neither
yeah.
one. At least that's
I
my
didn't
opinion.
mind the first one. The second one was probably one of the worst horror movies ever made. The second one was so.
I didn't even see part two.
It was so bad, dude. And then like I watched it at the theater and I left the theater. I'm like, what are they doing? Like the movie was so bad. And so years later, I watched it again. I was like, you know what? Let me watch this again just to make sure it's not as bad as I thought it was. And I feel like it was worse than I thought. Like it was so bad. But then the new ones, excuse me, the new ones, the first one was I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was a little annoying, like with all the paranoia and the traps in her house. Like
Yeah,
I was like, he hasn't been around for 40 years. Like, why are you doing this? It was weird. The second one, I loved it because it was basically Michael Myers going around killing people. Like, that's what I want to see in a Halloween
yeah.
movie. And then the third one was an abomination. I don't even know what they were thinking, what they were doing, who said, oh, this is a great script. Let's do this. It was brutal. It was so bad. I mean, Michael Myers was in the movie for like maybe 15 minutes. And I'm just like, what are they doing? Like, why would
I
they make
didn't.
it like
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
last
understand it.
one. That last one, Halloween Ends.
Yeah. I
I'm
didn't
gonna put it as
understand
a
it.
pretty bad movie. That was a pretty bad movie. That's
Oh,
from
so bad.
probably
It had
one of
some
the
character.
worst.
It was the main character. I was like, I don't even know this guy. I don't care about this guy. I
Yeah,
want to see
why
Michael
you?
Myers killing people and then a big fight with Jamie Lee Curtis at the end. Like that's what everybody wants. And I think the fight at the end was like maybe 2 minutes long. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like it was so bad.
Yeah, it
I hate
was.
even talking about it. It was so bad. Um, but yeah.
All
Uh,
right. Tell me a little bit more about your upcoming the upcoming projects. The ones that you guys are
well,
currently.
I have some stuff on Tubi that I'd like people to watch. Um, I got a movie called Psycho Science that's on Tubi right now. And if you remember the old movie Weird Science,
Mhm.
where the guys make the perfect woman on their computer, this is reversed. So it's women that are sick of dating and they know this guy that's a genius and he created this machine that can make things. Like he could say, "Oh, I want a hot dog," and he'll put a hot dog in the program, and he makes a hot dog, and he can eat it. So they come up with this idea to make the perfect man. So they get all this stuff, all the info, they put it in the computer, what they want the perfect man to be, and they accidentally put in a serial killer. So the perfect man is perfect, except he's a serial killer. So it's a lot of fun. Like it's probably the most fun movie I've made. Like it's so funny,
Okay.
and it's a great concept. It's really funny. The horror stuff is awesome. Um, it's a really fun movie, man, and like nobody's watching it on Tubi, and I'm kind of getting pissed because it's such a fun movie. Um, and then I got another movie called Death Blow on Tubi that it's kind of it's more of a thriller than anything. I wouldn't say it's horror at all. It's a thriller
I love
where
thrillers.
the husband has a rental property. He finds a bag of money, and there's gangsters after him. Like he decides to keep the money. There's gangsters after him and stuff. And that's a cool movie. I told you about Cheerleader Sleepover Slaughter. That one's fun. I got Sammy Slick Vampire Slayer, which is a vampire slayer ridding the streets of Ybor City. It's basically this strip club gets bought by a vampiress, and all the strippers are vampires.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, Sammy Slick, he's the vampire slayer. He tries to rid the city of all these vampires. So those are the movies I have on Tubi that you can watch right now. And then my next stuff, we got Man in the Blue Suit. You can watch that on YouTube. Like I said, we won a couple awards for that one. It's got over like almost 100,000 hits on YouTube. That's probably my best movie, I think. And then Bombshell Butcher, like I said, that should be out soon. They'll probably put that on YouTube also. That one should be out soon. What else I got? Oh, Creeper in the Woods. I just finished that one last week. I just finished editing and sent that over to the distributor. So
And
we're
what's
gonna have the
that one about?
premiere
If you ever talk about it, what is that one about?
about a creeper in the woods.
It's just exactly what it's okay. Okay.
That's exactly what it says.
But a creeper is it like a peeping
It's a
tom
guy.
or
It's like a weird guy. Yeah,
some weird guy?
it's I'd say it's a lot like Wrong Turn, Hills Have Eyes, that type of movie.
Okay. Cool.
Six people go to the woods to camp, and there's Creeper and his weird brother, kind of terrorizing them. So that was actually a lot of fun. We that was fun to shoot too. We just shot like the whole movie pretty much takes place in the woods, and the mosquitoes were so bad. We went through like 4 cans of bug spray, and like we had the wristband. Like it was brutal. My son's whole back was just destroyed because
Wow.
he's holding the camera and he couldn't swat the mosquitoes off him. So he was just sitting there and they were biting him and he couldn't do anything about it. And then we got Frost Park coming up. We have an amazing cast for this one. And this one, James Cullen Bressick, the guy that I told you about before, this is his script that he told me, because I made a 4-movie deal with these guys, and I had 3 in the can I was ready to do, and then I needed another one, and I was kind of looking for a script, and he said, "Hey, I got this script that I wrote, and it's the only script I've written that hasn't been made, and I'd love to see somebody make it." And he goes, "Would you be interested in making it?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, like send the script over." So he sent the script over. It was only 37 pages, and a script should be 70 to 80 pages to be a feature. So I asked him, I said, "Would you mind if I had somebody add to the script?" And he was like, "No, it's just as long as you don't change what I wrote, that's fine." So I had my script supervisor, Patrick, who also writes, he added to the story, and now we're at like I think 77 pages.
Okay.
And so we're pretty excited for it. I want it to be really good because it's James's movie. It's his baby, and so we got a pretty amazing cast. We're really excited for it, and we're shooting that March 21st. And actually, speaking of Frost Park, we have a thing going on now. If you go on the Reaper Films Horror Productions group page, we're selling producer credits. So if you wanted to have your name on the movie, you private message me, and we have like executive producer credits for 150, so your name will be on the movie, and you also get IMDb credit. So we got executive producer for 150, producer for 100, and associate producer for 50.
And
So
what's
if
the name
anybody
of
out
the
there's
what's the name of the group?
it's Reaper Films Horror Productions. It's a group page. It's not the Reaper Films
Right.
like page. It's a group page. So you just
Reaper
join the group,
Film.
and there's a little flyer. If you just scroll through, you'll see the flyer on there, and so it's pretty cool. We've sold a few so far, and all that money goes to just for extra money for the movie. I try to pay the actors a
Yeah.
little bit more with that money, a little bit better food. If we need some more wardrobe or props or whatever it is, that's where that money goes. Because it's nice to have a little extra money, and people like getting their name on a movie. They're like, "Oh, I'm a producer." Makes you feel good. Chicks, I always say chicks dig producers. So
Yeah. What about that other one? The Diary of a
yeah,
Serial
Diary of a
Killer.
Serial Killer. That one's in post right now. I think Ricky's editing that one. I think he's about halfway through it. So that one should be done probably by mid-March. We should have that one finished. But once I
Nice.
send it to the distributor, it usually takes like 6 to 8 months to get up on the streaming channels, which
Damn.
it takes a long time. So you try to build this hype, and then it's just like nothing for 6 months, and then you're just like, oh, hey, I remember the movie I was talking about 6 months ago. You can watch it now. And now nobody cares about it. So it's like it's hard. It's a tough
Well, I'll
business,
be looking
man.
forward to it. Yeah, that sounds like an exciting movie as well.
Yeah, it's
Um,
cool.
from all your projects that you've done, what has been a couple of your favorites? You mentioned a couple, but which ones are particularly special?
The special ones are probably like so Housewife Slasher is pretty special to me because like I said, making that jump from my first movie to my second movie, it was night and day. Like it's huge. And I was pretty proud of that movie and what we accomplished. I mean, like I said, we had 41 actors, 19 locations, which is crazy for having no money is absolutely crazy. Um, I had a lot of fun on Creeper in the Woods. Like I had a great group of people, and we had so much fun shooting that movie. And it's probably the most fun movie I've made. Like I just finished it the other, like last week, and I had put all the music in and everything, and was watching. I was like, this is a fun movie, man. So I hope people enjoy it as much as I do. Um, I don't know. Those are probably the two that. And Man in the Blue Suit. I had my friend Sean Ray. He's an amazing writer, and he wrote that movie. It started off where, like I said, James contacted me, asked me if I wanted to make this movie for them, and I started writing the script. And I was talking to Sean at the time, and I said, "Hey, I got the script. I'm starting to write. Take a look at it and see what you think." So I sent him the pages, and he started giving me all these ideas, and I'm like, "Do you want to write it?" I had written maybe 10, 12 pages. I said, "Do you want to write this?" And he was like, I said, "Look, you write it, help me produce it, help me direct it, we'll get your name on the movie and whatever." And because he hadn't been on any features, he hadn't directed any features or anything. So he ended up writing this amazing script. And there's a lot of little details in that script. If you watch the movie a couple times, you probably pick up on a lot more stuff. Made this amazing movie. It was a really hard movie to shoot. We had some long days. We had a friend, one of Sean's friends, let us shoot in his house, which was a beautiful house. And he was like the most amazing host. We're like, "Hey, let's move this rug because we're probably going to get blood on it." He's like, "Just get blood and I'll get a new one." I'm like, "Okay, what?" Let us spray blood all over his windows, like just crazy, like amazing, amazing person. And he's the guy that played the creepy neighbor, my ex.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was the guy whose house we used. Sean Ray's wife was in it. She played the therapist. She was amazing. Our lead, Mackenzie Aaron, was fantastic. Brianna Borello, her friend, was amazing. So we just had a great time shooting that movie. We had such an amazing cast and crew.
And
It
that
was a
was
lot
one
of
of
fun.
those films that you only had a handful of actors. You didn't have that many
Yeah,
actors in that
yeah.
film.
What did we have? Like 7 actors, maybe 8 actors
Maybe I
at the
think that's
most.
how many it
Yeah, it
was,
was
and,
bad.
and only a couple scenes, a couple locations only.
Yeah, we had the house was the main location. We had a scene in
Mhm.
an office and a couple car scenes. That was it. Everything else was in the house. And that's what I wanted. I wanted like a stalker movie, and you know, Sean took it to a. I had an idea, and Sean took it to a
To the
different
next level.
level and
Yeah.
another direction. And I'm reading these pages as he's sending them to me. I'm like, holy shit, this is really good. Like, so once you get a really good script, you get excited. Like, I think Frost Park's a really good script, and it's a murder mystery kind of. It's a teenage murder mystery. So there's these two guys and their friend, and they're in high school. Their friend got murdered by the Seminole Heights killer. Actually, the Seminole Heights shooter is his name. There's a serial killer going around town, and they kill their friend. So they're trying to find out who killed their friend, and so a lot of stuff happens along the way, and it's kind of a twisty ending. It's going to be pretty cool, and like I said, I got a killer cast. Like I'm so excited to work with these guys. But yeah, we're excited to do that one. So
Those are cool movies. I'm looking forward to when they come out.
yeah,
The Wild Irish Cafe. I need to ask you about that. This cafe was in a couple of your films already.
yeah.
What's up with the cafe?
So Jody Pucello, who is an actor, he's from New York, and he acted a lot up there. He moved down here and opened this restaurant up, and
Really? Okay.
we started talking, and he said, "Hey, can you use my restaurant?" So we used it a couple times. We used it in Psycho Science, and we used it in Cheerleader Sleepover Slaughter. I think that's the
Use
only
it
two
somewhere
movies.
else because I haven't seen Psycho Science yet. But I did see the cheerleader,
Yeah,
sleep slaughter. Um, I forgot where else did I see it. Where else
I
is
think
it?
that's the only two movies we've used it. Yeah,
Or did I watch? Maybe I didn't finish watching Psycho Science, but I got the whole thing of the women dating scene. That's
yeah,
where they
yeah,
were. That's where they were doing the dates. They were doing
yeah.
the
That's
dates
Psycho
at the
Science.
cafe. You're right. Okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
that's Psycho Science. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
they're
and
doing all these crazy dates, and then the story picks up from there. So it gets really good once you get past like the dates and stuff is like kind of comical, and then
it
it
is
turns
funny.
into
It was
like
pretty funny.
yeah, it's a lot of funny stuff, and then it gets horror, and you're just like, what the hell, man? Like this movie's crazy.
Well,
So it was a lot
so
of fun making that one.
where exactly is this cafe at? So might as well promote it
It's
on
in
here.
Dunedin. It's a little cafe in Dunedin, Florida. Um, they got like sandwiches and stuff. They're only open, I think, for lunch, breakfast and lunch. I think they close at like 2 or 3 o'clock.
I think that's what I
Um,
saw. I went
but
online
yeah,
and checked it out.
it's a cute little place. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool little place.
So if I
They
ever
got good
visit
food.
Florida again, I do
Yeah,
visit Florida. Because I got my daughter lives in South Florida. I know
hmm,
Dunedin is further north, but
yeah, yeah,
either way. So folks, if you're ever in the area, go stop by the Wild Irish Cafe.
yeah,
Um, breakfast or lunch. I like I said, I checked the menu and it looks pretty cool. Good
yeah. They got
prices
good
too.
food. Yeah, they got good food.
Um, is there any type of film that you will not be a part of, or that you will do not want to take, that you do not want anything to do with, besides Western? I know
I
you
would,
don't like
I would. I don't like westerns, but I probably would do one. Actually, we were talking.
really.
We have a town that's probably about an hour from me, and it's called Dry Creek, and there was a show on public access on PBS, and it was called Dry Creek, and they built this western town in the middle of nowhere, and they
Really?
used to shoot this show. Yeah, they had horses and cowboys and all this stuff in this show, and they got saloons and houses and all kinds of stuff in this town. It's pretty cool.
Oh
So I
crap! I'm
was
gonna have
thinking
to
of,
drive
I
by
was,
there.
yeah, I was thinking of possibly doing a western a horror western.
That would be pretty
I thought that
cool.
would be kind of cool and shoot it there, but a place that is kind of expensive to rent that place, so I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I would do a western. Um, I don't know. There's really nothing that I wouldn't do. You know, I kind of want to do dramas and stuff because making horror movies is hard, man. Like you got to deal with the effects and getting blood all over the place, and like you're borrowing somebody's house. You don't want to get blood all over the walls and stuff. So it's really difficult. That's why I like Creeper in the Woods, because the whole thing was in the woods and we could just kill people with no problem. We didn't have to worry about getting blood on anything. So that one was fun. But yeah, horror is hard. I mean, I love it, but it's not easy. I'm looking forward to Frost Park because it's more of a drama thriller than horror. There's only a couple small scenes with blood in it, so I'm kind of happy about that. But I would do anything really. Um, I don't know. I do horror because it sells. Like people want to see horror movies.
It does
Um,
so.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
notice, a horror movie that comes out, it's always number one at the box office, no matter what it's up against. So um, that's pretty much why I do it. Plus, I
You,
love
you,
horror movies.
you and I texted each other, and I mentioned the Blair Witch Project. That movie
Yeah,
sucked, and yet
yeah.
it exploded.
The thing I admire about the Blair Witch Project was the marketing job that they did. You know, remember
Yeah,
they had that show on Discover on Discovery Net channel about the town that you know the people were missing from this town, and they were interviewing the people in the town and all this stuff, and they had the whole legend and everything, and they made it seem like it really
like it was
happened,
a real thing.
and like that's one of the, I mean, maybe the first found footage movie. I mean, I know um, Cannibal Holocaust was kind of found footage, but I mean, this is like the first found footage movie in a really long time, and they did an amazing job marketing that movie. Like, I was so excited to go see that movie,
Me too.
and when I went to see it, found footage movies, the way the camera shakes and moves, it
Can't
makes me
stand it.
nauseous.
Me
It makes me
too.
nauseous. I get sick. So I'm so excited to see this movie. I get in the theater and I'm watching like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie's making me nauseous. So I didn't even really watch the movie. I was like watching the back of my seat, and when something would happen, I'd look up, and I don't know, it was kind of disappointing. But yeah, it wasn't a great movie.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. And don't get me wrong, I like the concept. The idea
Mhm.
of the film was great. The
Yeah.
film itself was horrible, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I told you I saw Dead Residence, which I need to know why don't you guys like it? You said none of your team liked
There's
it.
a lot. Me and Sean hate that movie, man. Like
Why?
we like I said, that was our first found footage movie we ever made, and we don't even like found footage movies. We're like, I hate those movies.
So do I,
But
but this one was actually
um,
pretty good.
we were like, let's make one and see what happens. And it was almost like, and I mean, we were pretty seasoned when we made that, and it was almost like we had never made a movie before. Like we didn't know what to do. We shot the whole movie with a phone. You know, the people were holding the phone, and like you don't need a cinematographer or anything. Like the actors
That was
hold the
actually
phone.
that was an
Yeah,
actual phone that was being recorded
yeah,
off
we
of.
shot that on my cell phone. Yeah, it was crazy. Um, and then like the stuff, like the surveillance footage was too grainy. Like you couldn't really see what was going on in the bedroom. Like there was just, I don't know. There's a lot of technical stuff that I didn't like about it. I felt it was kind of boring. I don't know.
I,
Everybody
I,
likes it, but we do. But us,
yeah, honestly,
everybody I've talked to is like, "Oh yeah, I saw that. It was a really cool movie." I'm like, "Really? Okay."
yeah,
I don't get it,
actually,
but it's not
yeah.
my cup of tea, I guess.
Hey, if you're out there, if you're watching this, and check out Dead Residence, and let me know what you think.
And don't judge.
It's up
Don't
to
judge
me.
me.
Don't
Don't
judge.
judge.
Just send me a personal message, a personal,
Yeah,
and let me know what you guys think. If you agree with me, it
yeah,
was a good movie. Or no, hey JC, it sucked. Don't
yeah.
be
It was
rude
like our.
again. Don't be
It was
rude.
like our. It was like we didn't know what we were doing. Like we're like, what do we do here? Like it was kind of weird. I don't know. It was like I said, it was almost like the first time we ever made a movie before.
That's funny.
Making that one, and we had made like probably 10 movies since that before that. Um, so I don't know. Like I said, we're the only ones that don't like it. Everybody we talk to likes it. So
That's hilarious. That's
you're
awesome. That's
yeah.
funny. What anybody that you haven't worked with that you would like to work with? Well, it doesn't matter if it's an
Um,
actor, producing, writers, in any capacity. Anybody you haven't worked with that you would like to work with?
talking like big names
No,
or
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Maybe big name, maybe or maybe somebody from the indie industry.
you know who I think is brilliant? Mia
Hmm.
Goth. Mia Goth. She is amazing. Like if you watch the Ty West trilogy, X and Pearl and Maxine, she was so good in those three movies, man. Like blew me away. Blew me away. Um, there's some people now. This girl Sophie Thatcher that was in a Companion. She's in Yellow Jackets on Showtime. she's kind of making a name for herself. She's an up and comer. Um, I don't know. I'm interested in young up and coming actors, and I kind of follow these people because if I ever get some money, I might be able to work with some of these people. So I
Yeah,
got to know who they are.
yeah.
Like a Sydney Sweeney and Jenna Ortega. Like I knew who they were before they became huge stars, and I like researching that stuff. But I don't know. Actors are people. Like, there's really nobody that I'm kind
Well,
of like,
absolutely, they are. Yeah,
I'm not starstruck or anything like that. But Mia Goth would be cool. She seems like she's a little crazy and probably difficult on set, but she's amazing. She's amazing. She captivates the screen when she's on it. Like you can't take your eyes off her. She's that good. Um, but yeah, I guess her should be pretty cool to have in a movie, I think.
what are your ultimate goals for your career, your continuation of your career?
I'm 55, man. I'm kind of like I'm at a point now where this
Mm.
fourth movie is going to be finished, and I'm kind of debating if I want to try and get some big money to make something. Um, but here's the thing: like, if I went and got $1 million, I don't have a story to tell right now. Um, I got a movie called Goth Girl, or a script called Goth Girl that I wrote. It's probably the best script I've written. Um, and I think it would be a really cool movie, but I don't know if it's $1 million movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make something just to make it. Like, I want something that's going to
Yeah,
be like stand out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
My friend Sean Ray, he's got a couple scripts that are freaking fantastic, and he's looking for money for one of them. And I don't know, I might try to help him get some money and help him produce it or something. Um, I don't know. So I'm at a crossroads right now whether I want to keep making the $4,000 movies or I want to make something bigger. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of take it week by week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
What's your Mount Rushmore in as far as films? What are your top four films? Your
my
favorite,
top four,
not necessarily yours, but in your
right?
opinion that you've uh, what's your Mount Rushmore of
Like the
films?
ones I like. Um,
Yeah,
Hang on, I got it. I got my list. Let me find my list. Um, all right, we got number one, Pulp Fiction. It will always be my favorite movie. It's a perfect movie. It's a masterpiece. My second favorite movie, The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's Batman movie, masterpiece of superhero cinema. True Romance is another one of my favorites, and Wolf of Wall Street. That's probably my top four. And top horror movie is Halloween. This is my favorite horror
that's
movie.
got. I
It's
mean,
time. It's timeless. Like
I
I
agree.
just saw it. I just saw it at the theater maybe 6 months ago. They released it in the theater,
Really, they didn't do it
and
here.
and
At
I
least I
took
don't
my
think they
son.
did it here.
I took my son Jaden, and it was almost like watching it for the first time. Like, it was so good, and it was so fun seeing it on the big screen. It was great. I had such a great time, and I've seen that movie 25, 30 times. It's just something I used to watch it every Halloween. So how old
Same
is that?
here.
I don't know. Yeah. So um, that's my favorite. As far as franchise, I think my favorite franchise is probably the Friday the 13th franchise. There were some stinkers in some of them, but most of them are good. They're fun. I think the Halloween franchise is terrible. After the second one, after Halloween 2, I thought the rest of them were terrible when they started getting into the spirits and curses and all that crap. I don't know. That just
Well,
kind of turned me off.
part three was. I mean,
Well,
I
part
think
three was a good movie,
uh,
but I don't really consider that as a
no, it's
my
not because
Halloween.
they try to go with a different storyline. They say, okay, I think
Yeah,
we shot ourselves in the foot, getting rid
yeah.
of
It was
Michael
cool. It was a
Myers.
cool movie though. I remember when
Yeah,
I saw it as a kid, we went to the theater and we're all like, "Oh, Michael Myers," and then we're like, "Where's Michael Myers? Like, what's going on?" It was a cool movie though. Like, it was a badass movie. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't really like the Halloween franchise, but I love Halloween. The first movie is so good.
Part one and part
And
two,
again,
yeah, they were
they
good.
were like us, man. Like they were like us. I mean, shit, they didn't have a mask, so they went down to the corner store and found a William Shatner mask and made it into a Michael Myers mask. Um, just I love little things like that. Little, people making it happen.
And their
We've done
budget was
shit.
very small
Yeah,
considering a
they had
Hollywood
like
film. His budget was very, very
yeah,
limited.
super small, super small. I think they had $250,000 or something crazy like that. Um, but we've done stuff like that, man. Like we've thrown mannequins off hotel balconies. We've walked into a cemetery and started shooting a funeral scene, and the guy that owned the cemetery pulled up, and I talked him into letting us finish. Like it's just crazy. So, I'm very good at getting people to do what I want. So yeah, you let us finish. Um, we've done some crazy stuff on set. I can't even think of anything, but we've done a lot of wacky things that we probably shouldn't have done. But I'm a big believer in ask for forgiveness over permission. Um, but yeah, we've done some fun stuff
That's
over the
cool, man.
years, and I've worked with
What?
some great people, and I've built some great friendships, and um, I don't know, I had a pretty good life so far.
That's
If I
awesome. I
died
love that.
tomorrow, I'd be like, did all right, had fun, had a good time. So and that's
And
what I'm
what?
about right now at my age, man. I'm about have a good time, have fun every day, do something I love, spend time with my kids. That's spend time with my girlfriend. Like that's what I want to do. So my life at this moment is letting me do that. Um, it's letting me sit here and make movies every day and not have to worry about money and whatever else. I got a pretty good support system, and I don't know, having a good time.
Well, I mean, and one thing you said was helping the next generation or the next set of directors,
Sure.
editors, and so and I think that's very, very important. And
Right.
I mean, that's something to to be respected. So I respect that from you
Thanks.
because you said it. This is a very cutthroat industry,
Oh,
and
it's
I've had Will Colazzo and Phil Herman. They told
mhm,
me that no. So when you find your group, especially in the indie industry,
mhm.
you stick with that group because that's who you trust.
Yeah,
Is-
absolutely.
And it's
And like I
sad
said,
when that people want to backstab or,
yeah, I know
like you
it's
said, the
just ridiculous.
distributors.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's
But
disgusting.
yeah, I got my little crew, and we make some pretty cool stuff, and our stuff's looking better and better and better. Um, we just got this thing going, and I love it. So, and these guys are like, they're with me. They're with me. I keep asking them, I'm like, hey man, like, I understand you need to make more money or whatever. I can't pay you that much. I try to pay you as much as I can. And they're like, okay, whatever. I don't care. I asked my scripture, I was like, how much money do you need to make if to shoot like 7 or 8 days? And he's like, I don't know, whatever. I'm just like, okay, like tell me how much you need to make. They don't care. They don't like. They're not doing it for the money. The money's nice for them. It's a little extra for them, but they don't. That's not what's driving them. They want to be filmmakers, and um, I'm happy to be there to help them, to show them things. When I had my guy Adam Shipley, who helped me write Bombshell Butcher, he helped me produce it too. Like I took him to a location to scout it and talk to the guy, and I kind of showed him how I cast, how I find my cast. He helped me pick the actors that we liked. It was just cool, showing him that stuff. And then with Ricky on Diary of a Serial Killer, he really took in the whole thing of he basically took everything over, which I loved. I loved it. I'm like, he took care of getting everybody's wardrobe. He took care of making the prop list. He took care of making, the shoot schedule, like all this stuff. He just took it over. And I was like, awesome. I did my job. It's like my work is done here. Um, but it's very hard for me to let go of control on stuff. But I resisted butting in, you know what I mean? Because like I said, this was his idea, his script, his this is was his brainchild, and it was very personal to him. And I kind of let him just do his thing, and I was there if he needed me. I was there as this little crutch, I guess, to help him if he needed help. Um, and then, I always edit my movies, and he said he wanted to edit it. I'm like, all right. I said, you got a deadline? I said, I know you work full time, and he does video production full time. So
Wow.
he's constantly doing video. So he's probably editing like all day for probably 16 hours a day. Um, but he's doing great. He's doing great. The movie's getting cut, and he's doing a good job. And I don't know. I love it. And then he went off and made his own movie. He made a short, and he won a freaking award. His first short movie he ever made. He won an award.
Awesome.
I'm just like, I'm so proud of that guy, man. Like, it makes me feel good that these guys are leaving my nest and doing things themselves and doing great. Like, his movie is so cool. I mean, it's like a 7 or 8 minute movie, but I mean, it was really cool. It looked great, sounded great. The actors were really good, and he wins an award. I'm like,
I
what the hell?
love shorts. I love
Incredible.
shorts. You
Yeah.
have a few shorts. Where can I find your shorts? I haven't been able to find them anywhere. Where?
I don't have
Or
any shorts. I don't make shorts.
no,
We
but
we made we
you
made
produced a
we made a
few.
no, we made a bunch of shorts a while back when I was first learning camera. I
Yeah.
started doing these little shorts. We did a bunch of phobia shorts about
Yes.
phobias, and I
Yes.
shot them.
Yes.
And then we shot those, God, in like 2013, maybe
Mhm.
2014, around there. And we were looking for like an Elvira type host for in between each movie. We had 5 movies that we made, and I had a bunch of different filmmakers make these movies, and I shot all of them but one. And the goal was to put them on a Blu-ray all together with a host in between, like some hot girl
Like an
hosting it,
anthology.
and then and then we were gonna sell the Blu-rays and all split the money. So this movie sat on the shelf forever, and me and Sean met this girl Jessa Flux, and she's like, "Oh, I want to be a horror host." So Sean's like, "Hey, bing, let's do the phobias, and we'll put it on a Blu-ray and have her host it." And we're like, "Okay." So we did it, and we just released it. Maybe a year ago, we just released it, the whole thing. But those are the only shorts I ever made. I never made
Right.
shorts.
So
I feel like
where's it?
shorts
Where's
are.
it available? Where's it available?
I don't know where it is. I think it's on Tubi, I
Is
believe.
it?
I don't. I'm not sure. I know we
Well,
have Blu-rays for sale. I know that. Let me
send me the
see.
link for the Blu-ray. I will and I'll share
Phobophobia.
and I'll share it. I'll
Yeah,
no,
I kind of forgot about that. I'm not sure where it is. I don't know if it is on
because
any
I saw
streaming
the
channel right now.
phobias and I said, man, these sound like pretty cool.
Yeah, they were
And
good movies.
I love shorts. I think shorts are very, very cool films, and
Yeah,
they're
it's not
you know
anywhere. Like, you can't watch it anywhere yet. We have it with a distributor. They just haven't
okay,
released it yet. But yeah, just keep checking my Reaper Films page, and
okay,
we'll pop it up there once it's ready, once it's out somewhere.
okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I've never really made shorts. We did a short. You ever see the ABCs of Death?
No,
So there's a anthology called the ABCs of Death, and there's a horror short for each letter. And when they did ABCs of Death 2, they had a contest for the letter M, and anybody could send a movie in, and then people voted on which movie they liked best, and that's the one that was going to be part of the anthology. So we made one for that called M is for Mask, and it's a pretty cool movie. And we were in the top 3 for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then all of a sudden all these movies flooded the website, and people were just voting and voting, and we ended up like, I think 17th, I think, out of like 350 movies we were 17th, which is
wow.
amazing. But you can find that on YouTube. It's called M is for Mask, and it's a pretty cool movie. It's only 3 minutes long. Like, that
I
was
was
the
looking
thing
for
that
that.
had
I
to be
was looking for
released.
for mascots. I couldn't find it. There's
You couldn't?
so I'll
It
look for it on YouTube.
should be on YouTube. Yeah,
I'll
just
look
put
for
M
it.
is for Mask. Yeah, it should be on there.
Okay.
Um, if it's not, let me know, and I'll figure it out and send it to you. But yeah, that was a cool movie. We had a huge crew that night. We just went to Ybor and started shooting, and we had a guy splattered all over the ground in Ybor, and the cops pulled up, and they got out of the car, and they're like, "Oh, what are you guys making a movie?" We're like, "Yeah," and they just sat there and watched us. They just said, "Hey, you mind if we hang out?" We're like, "Yeah, sure." So they watched us filming this movie. Guys splattered all over the ground. It was funny. So,
Chris,
um,
anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to share, man?
I think I covered everything, man. Like, I don't know, had a good time.
Me
So just
too,
watch my
man.
stuff.
Yeah,
Watch my
guys.
stuff. That's all I want people to do
I'm
is
gonna
watch
be
my
sharing
movies.
your stuff. I'm gonna be sharing a lot of your stuff. I'm gonna be sharing you. I'm gonna be sharing your Tubi, uh, your Tubi stuff. I shared your IMDb. It's gonna be, all your stuff is gonna be on the description
Yeah,
of this podcast on this which will be on this Saturday.
awesome.
But
I
yeah, but
appreciate it.
yeah, but thank you, Chris.
Thank
Folks,
you, man.
make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Man, and check out Chris's stuff. He's a very, very talented genius mind.
I don't know about that,
You
but thank you.
no man, you are. You're I've become a huge fan of the um indie films. I've become a very,
Well, thank you.
the same way we need to support local independent businesses. Like
Right,
we should go to a Wild Irish Cafe instead of going to IHOP.
right,
We need to support our mom and pops. Nothing wrong with IHOP. Nothing wrong with Mickey D's. Nothing wrong with going to
right.
the hey, get your fix. But let's support the mom and pops and let's support the indie films. Let's do it.
Appreciate that.
All
Yeah,
right,
let's
and
do
that's
it.
what I'm here for. That's what I think. I think that's part of what God has uh, pushed me to do. So I want to support you guys.
Thank you. We
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Thank you for being on, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.